This is Linda West with Living Live. I'm here tonight with Henning Morales. Henning, thank you so much for coming out tonight. What do you want to share with us about a topic I love so much, fear?
The topic is fear. Oh,
Yes.
that's a good question. Well, first of all, if fear is something that we all have to deal with in our lives, and
Yeah.
starting at a young age, and some of us more than others. But really, in order to achieve in this life, in order to be happy in this life, something that you definitely need to tackle. And in my opinion, zeroing in and focusing in on the present moment. If you're in the present and you can get yourself back into a Zen place, not just to be happy, but also to produce results. It's funny because we're next to the Despicable Me and the Minions are in the background. It's pretty funny. So if you can get yourself into a centered place, not only will you be happier and not experience fear, you'll also be able to take much more effective action in achieving whatever goal that it is that you're achieving. So much of the time, we're not in the present moment. We're concerned about something in the future, which is fear, or we are still harboring some elements of something that went wrong in the past, which is a different form of fear or guilt or anxiety or what have you. If you can get yourself focused in the present moment, you will not feel any fear at all. It's impossible to feel fear in the moment. Think about it for a second.
Yeah.
In this moment,
Yes.
what type of problems do you have right now?
None.
There are none.
I'm with Henning Morales. I mean, this is amazing.
We're having a nice conversation. There's nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. And if you can, the more time you can spend in that Zen place, the happier you be and the more effective that you be. That's my opinion. And you asked. We're not prepared for this, but.
That's good. I wanted you to not be prepared because, everybody asks you the same questions. Now, the next question is what everybody's probably asking you. What's the next project you're working on?
Well, we're finishing up an amazing film that's called Rebelestic, which is a feature-length version of a short film which we produced, and we are screening now across the country. We've got screenings set up in Chicago and New York and Phoenix and Northern California, different places. We screened that film basically for educational purposes, pro bono. We took that film, we expanded it into a feature-length film, which is amazing. We got 22 cars, 19 original songs. It's a retro piece, goes back to the 80s, muscle cars, happy people, good music.
I love the 80s.
Yeah,
Okay, go on.
it is and my director's amazing. Remember this name, Brandon Lee. Remember the name? Brandon Lee. He is going to be winning awards someday. We have him directing Rebelestic, and also we're working on another short film this summer, which is a more serious topic to help kids who are in a suicidal mode, to help those kids. That's my next project. Over the summer, we'll do that one. He's come on board with me as a co-writer and also to direct it, so I'm happy about that as well.
Well, let me ask you about that, because when I was in junior high school, I actually did attempt suicide. And so I know so many young people do, right? Because, like whatever situation we have going in our lives, and obviously I didn't succeed, which is a good thing because I'm here today to talk about it. So I want to ask you, though, what in your heart made you want to do this project?
Well, this is something that, again, it's an issue that's happening today. We didn't have to deal with it as much when we were kids. Today, with the overwhelming stimuli that the kids have between social media and movies and television, video games, kids are not developing their prefrontal cortex, and which is the decision-making and the communication skill part of the brain. And what happens is, if you don't have the proper decision-making skills, then you start to have those kind of suicidal thoughts, where maybe if you had a different mental process, you could avoid that. And we do a lot of youth mentorship talks and events. All of my films are based on communicating to that young mind. And what we did was we decided to get creative and take one of the chapters in my first book, which is a car chase scene. And
what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is called The Dirt Merchants.
Okay.
And there's a car chase scene where there's cops, literally cops, and the kids are in the car driving, and there's a crash and the whole 9 yards. And I said, why don't we take that chapter and make a really cool film, but have the storyline and the song be along those lines, where you have maybe a kid, 15-year-old kid who's had suicidal type thoughts, or maybe he's even decided to do it, and then something happens to change his mind. and what that change of mindset is, and try and do it in about 12 minutes. So that's a challenge. But and then we can screen that at different organizations, and we're doing that with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, the 800 number and website, and we can do that as a it's kind of a public service, but make a really cool film versus just telling somebody what to do. You show, and that'll get a lot more. It's a lot easier to get kids' attention. We've learned if you show them a film versus just lecturing at them. Yeah. So.
And how can people find you?
Well, the short film is Romancery. Just search Romancery trailer, and it'll come right up. My social media is Henning Morales. Just add Henning Morales. That's it. Yeah, simple.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Can I have a hug?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much. There, you guys. That was Henning Morales.